The Crooked House in Dudley, UK has stood for over 260 years. After extensive mining in the 1800s, the house subsided 4 feet into the ground on one corner, making it a quirky and bizarre building to step into. As everything was slanted and rooms were warped, those visiting would feel like they had already had a skinful before ordering their first pint. I'm Bleaky, and today's video is going to be a bit different. I was originally going to make this video talking about the ghosts of the Crooked House when I first found out that the building had been sold for a private purpose, meaning that after 190 years it would no longer be a pub. Just a week after, however, a devastating fire gutted the building, which was seen by the community and emergency services as suspicious. While the community discussed how and who could salvage the building and bring it back to its former glory, the new owner secretly ordered bulldozers to destroy the rest of the building, erasing an iconic Black Country landmark. The Crooked House had only been in the possession of the new owners for less than 2 weeks before this happened. I've got an open bottle of milk that's been in my fridge longer than that. With detectives now treating the fire as arson and many things not adding up, I thought I would not only tell you about the ghosts of this historic building, but document the unbelievable events of the past few weeks and those involved who are seemingly more crooked than the beloved heritage site. Situated in a former mining area in the Black Country, the 260-year-old pub was surrounded by quarries that caused subsidence in the 1800s, which resulted in the pub sinking into the hollowed-out land below. The building started out as a farmhouse, which was built in 1765 on Oak Farm. This means that the building was standing before the United States was even founded. In 1830, it was turned into a pub called the Glynne Arms, known by us Black Country locals as Siding House, which means crooked. In the 1940s, the Crooked House was deemed unsafe due to the subsidence and was scheduled to be demolished. Fortunately, the building was saved by the Wolverhampton and Dudley breweries, who used buttresses and girders to reinforce the building and make it safe again. Due to the warped angles of the Crooked House, helped by strategically angled furniture, the building was one huge optical illusion. The most common trick performed by visitors was rolling pennies and bottles, which appeared to roll up the table instead of down. A few years ago, a psychic named Andrew Leddington visited the Crooked House. According to Andrew, 7 spirits resided in the Crooked House. The first of these is a young barmaid called Polly, who has been seen regularly by customers out of the corner of their eye, pouring a drink in the bar area. When they look over, however, she vanishes, much like all of my cash when I visit the pub. Another interesting phenomenon that occurs at the Crooked House were footprints appearing on certain floors after they had been mopped, with everyone present claiming that they hadn't walked on the floor. Andrew believes that the part of the pub where the footprints have been found was originally an outhouse many years ago. Some have even claimed that they have seen misty outlines of a girl mopping the floor, which dissipates after a few seconds. Could these be the remnants of a former employee, not realising that she no longer has to perform her duties? I suppose they have no last orders bell in the afterlife. The most terrifying and well-known spirit that haunted the Crooked House was the Screaming Boy. This ghost has been described as a young boy standing with his mouth wide open, like he is trying to scream, but the sound won't come out. Former staff at the Crooked House have recalled customers describing the disturbing sight, which only lasts a few moments before he disappears. Could the Screaming Spectre be an anguished spirit, unable to move on, or just a local who has realised how much the price of a pint has gone up? The spirit of a man has also been seen leaning at a strange angle at the fireplace by both staff and customers, as well as fingerprints appearing on polished brass when no one else was in the building. Disturbingly, items have been thrown across rooms on their own, leading some to believe that one of the spirits isn't so friendly. While the Crooked House no longer stands and the spirits residing in it no longer have a building to haunt, those reported in the country lane leading up to the site will most likely linger. Many years ago, a young girl named Jenny fell off the bridge outside and sadly died. Some even believe that Jenny was purposely pushed to her death. Since then, the woman in white has been seen gliding down the long path. In 2012, a taxi driver was called to the pub to collect a customer who was a little worse for wear. As he navigated the dark road, however, he was chilled to the bone to see a young woman in a flowing white dress gliding ahead of him. As the headlights pierced straight through her, she slowly turned her head to look at him before fading into nothing. When the taxi driver arrived at the crooked house, he was white as a sheet. After sharing his story, Wayne Penn, the owner at the time, told him not to worry and that he had seen the spirit of a young girl who died on the road many years ago. "Oh, just a ghost floating down the road in the dead of night. Yeah, that's nothing to worry about." In 2008, a paranormal investigation group visited the crooked house. At around 1:20 AM, one of the investigators was standing in front of the closed door to the left bar room when the door began to suddenly vibrate as if it had been kicked quite hard. The room was checked straight away, but no one was inside. Because of the extreme angle of the building, the weight of the door, which would have swung open if left unlatched, made it impossible for it to vibrate in the way that it did and for as long as it did, even if kicked with a lot of force. While the ghosts of the crooked house lingered for hundreds of years within Britain's most quirkiest building, a series of sudden, tragic and alleged corrupt actions earlier this month resulted in the unforgivable destruction of a much-loved building. 2 weeks ago, Marston's Brewery sold the pub to a couple who own 8 Farms Limited. One of them is also reported to be a shareholder and former director of Himley Environmental Limited, which owns the quarry and landfill surrounding the land of the crooked house. The reason for the sale was reportedly due to a break-in where the property was damaged and Marston's didn't want to pay out to make it operational again after 190 years of serving as a pub. At around 10:30 PM on Sunday, the 6th of August 2023, fire services got a call that the crooked house was on fire. What instantly made this suspicious was the ferocity of the blaze, as it had rained all day. Yep, welcome to the British summer. To achieve such a flame, some have claimed that a decent amount of accelerant was spread throughout the property. After the fire, a spokesman for Marston's Brewery said, "We are shocked and disappointed to learn about the fire, which has caused so much damage to a landmark building that is so well known in the area." While things looked bleak for the building after the first images were shared on social media, whoever started the blaze made sure that the fire services could not reduce the damage, as a large mound of dirt and debris was dumped in the country road, making it impossible for a fire engine to reach the building. Another suspicious detail in this case is that much of the antique fixtures collected over its 260-year history, including the iconic grandfather clock, had been removed days before the fire. The sudden and haphazard way the building was demolished within 48 hours of the fire appeared to many to be a way of destroying any evidence that would point to arson, or to carry out the alleged plans of clearing the land for redevelopment. The local status and history of the building would have made getting demolition approval any other way nigh on impossible. Since the demolition, it has been discussed why the historic building wasn't registered as a listed property, which protects buildings which are considered to be of national importance due to special architectural or historical interest, which it certainly was. If it was a listed building, the owners would have had to ask permission to install a new toilet roll holder, let alone demolish it. After the devastating fire and demolition, the South Staffordshire Council leader, Roger Lees, issued a statement that said, "Our officers carried out a site visit to the site yesterday prior to the demolition of the building. Officers agreed a programme of works with the landowner's representative to ensure the safety of the building and the wider site. The agreed course of action included the removal of 3 elements of the first floor elevation only. This was only to avoid the weak parts of the structure from falling. At no point did the council agree to the demolition of the whole structure." The building was sold by Marston's as a private function, meaning that it would not be used as a commercial building or turned into apartments. Basically, it would be lived in as a house. But as it was quickly demolished by the owners after the fire, many alleged that the couple purchased the house with the intention of knocking it down and using the land for another purpose from the very beginning. Of course, this claim hasn't been proven yet, with investigations still ongoing. Interestingly, this isn't the first time that the new owners brought a pub cherished by locals, which ended up gutted. In 2020, the couple brought the Sarah Mansfield Country Inn in the Warwickshire village of Wiley. It is reported that they promised to keep part of the building as a pub, keeping much of its original features and turning the rest into apartments. Unfortunately, this wasn't the case, and they gutted the whole building, leaving it an empty shell. After the locals stressed their concerns, work on the building was ordered to stop by the council. Whether the destruction of the Crooked House was a result of corrupt owners or a case of random arson coupled with some unfortunate circumstances such as the time frame from purchase to fire and the road being blocked is still to be verified in the courts. With an overwhelming outpour from the community, the involvement of local MPs, widespread coverage on news networks, and the pressure put on the West Midlands Police and Fire Services to conduct a thorough investigation, the truth behind the loss of the beloved pub will come to light, and those responsible will be brought to justice. As a local lad, I remember the first time my dad took me to the Crooked House. As a kid, I was absolutely amazed by it and quite freaked out after hearing about the screaming boy. Since then, I've been in there with family and friends and will remember it fondly. While the building no longer stands, the stories of the spirits that called the pub their home for centuries will carry on by word of mouth, along with the legacy of the Crooked House. If you have any information on the Crooked House fire, please contact the West Midlands Police by visiting the live chat facility at www.staffordshire.police.uk and quoting the incident number 761. And until next time, sleep well, friends.